All right, and welcome to the show about the MakeCode for Microbit show. My name is Pelly. I work for the MakeCode team, and we are live streaming every day to help people who are stuck at home. And you can check out all the previous videos on our YouTube channel or here in Mixer as well. We're going to be coding something called the Microbit. It's that little device you're seeing you were seeing on the intro, and we're going to do a lot of stuff in the browser. We'll do a little bit of hardware. So today what we're going to be doing is talking about arcade buttons. So we're going to be looking at these arcade buttons, and you can see one here. And we're going to see how these can be used super easily with the Microbit. All right. So before we go there, let's do a little bit of coding. We're going to look at the fundamentals of using those buttons easily. So if we go into the editor at makecode.microbit.org, we're going to create a new project. In fact, I'm just going to rename this one Target of LED, because this is the one we did in the last video. Oops, didn't rename it. There you go, save. Okay. All right, save. And we're going to create a new a new project. And in that project, we're going to be listening to button clicks from an arcade button. All right, so I don't need on start. And I don't need forever now. But I'm going to go in input. And I'm going to look for the on pin pressed event. And that's the event we're going to use to listen to arcade button clicks. And just for the sake of this demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show a heart, and then I'm going to hide it. So whenever I press the button P0, you can see that here in the simulator I can do that. We should see a heart for a little bit of time, and then it should go away. Now we're going to download that into the physical Microbit, and we're going to look at how arcade buttons work. All right. So let's go into the physical world, and we're going to hold on. We're going to click download, and I'm going to right click on the button. I'm going to say save link as. I'm going to send that. Oh, I don't have any Microbit. All right, so let's connect the Microbit. Like that. And now there's a Microbit drive that showed up, so I can save into that. And my Microbit is blinking, so it's transferring data into the Microbit, and eventually it'll be done. So I should be able to trigger the button by pressing with my finger. All right. Well, let's take a look at doing that with an arcade button. And for that, we're going to need a bit more space. And we're going to talk about these various devices you can find on the... Oh, Emil just woke up. There's various devices you can find. There's many different models of arcade buttons, but they kind of all work the same way. Some of them have LEDs in them. Some of them have 3 wires. Some of them have 4 wires. Some of them have 2 wires. So I'm going to start with kind of a classic one, this one. And this one has this removable switch in there. You can see the switch here. And basically, it's an open switch, and then when you press the button, you close the switch. You will find those in regular electronics, like your deep fryer. The security, when you pull the wire, might actually have one of those in there. And then you put them by putting the short side first, and then you slide it in. until it slides, and then, did I do it wrong? I did it wrong. I did it the wrong way. Let's try the other way. Yeah, so the metal pin has to be out. And we need the short end. Okay, I'm confused now. This is gonna be this way, yes. This way, there's one way, and when you know when it's in, because you're getting the clicking. All right, so I've got 2 metal pins sticking out here. Let's zoom in a bit. All right, 2 metal pins, and I'm gonna be using crocodile clips, gator clips. So I've got 2 crocodile clips. These are very handy when you do the microbit. And I'm going to plug them into, each of them into the arcade button. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter which one, because it's just about closing the circuit. And then on the other side,
put one on ground.
We're going to put one on ground. And because we're doing P0, I'm going to put one on P0. All right. Now,
it sure looks weird.
It does look weird, but check this out. Woo!
No, my shirt.
Oh, Emil's there, yeah. It does work. So this is a super cool way to get really nice buttons. You know, those arcade buttons are super cool. And this is one model, but this is another model you find on Adafruit. Very nice button. Got some great feeling to it. And again, you can attach that, and you can see that it's working perfectly. All right, a bit more light here. All right, so now let's talk about these more advanced buttons. I'm going to talk about this one first. So some of these buttons are as cool as having their own LED in it. And if you look at this one,
yeah.
we can't see well. Let's see. Let's see if I can get a light in here. Look at this one. Ooh, it has 4 pins. I need a light on top of my camera. Let's see here. All right. It has 4 pins, and 2 of them are for. This light is way too strong. 2 of them are for
lights.
Lights, and 2 of them are for the switch. Now they're all kind of different. So typically they come with a little manual that tells you which one is which. I happen to know that here the switch is on these pins, so I'm going to do that. And this particular model, they're kind of completely separate circuits, so I can test that. I press my button, it works. Now, having lights is very cool because you can do a lot of cool things here. So I'm going to wire the lights, and unlike the switch, the light is an LED, so it only the current can only flow one way. So you need to make sure, you know, if it doesn't light up, it's probably because you got it reversed. You can just try to flip the switch. So I'm going to connect on these ones too. And here I just connected to 3 volt. You see that now I have an LED.
Yeah, and those are fun.
And those are fun.
Yeah.
Now, it's always on, so that's a bit boring. So we're going to change the code on the microbit so that we can control when the LED is on or not. So let's go back to the editor.
Should I change the view?
Yeah, Control-Shift-1. And what we're going to do is we're going to work with the pins, because this is the pin. I've attached that to the pin 1. So if we go to the pin section.
Input. Right.
No, we're beyond the input and we're now in advanced.
Oh yeah, nice.
And if you scroll down, we have the pins. So the pins are the little metal pins. Let's see if I can get a microwave here. What we call the pins are this metal strip at the bottom. And all these pins are connected somehow to the microcontroller. So what we're going to want to do is send some voltage, some current.
What is this?
Oh yeah, that's a math thing. what we're going to do is we're going to do an analog write to P1. And that lets us control, and what we're going to do is we're going to set it to P1, yeah, when we turn on the heart, and then we send it back to 0.
Lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do this one is before you, so what we try to do is turn on the button. Should we have what do you want to do with the button? Blink?
With the button.
Turn on when you press it down. Turn off when you press it down.
It should turn on when it's on. I mean, if you have like a clicker.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to blink the button.
Blink.
All right. So to blink, how do we blink? It's kind of like blinking an LED. How do we typically do these LED animations? We need a forever loop.
Oh yeah, we need a forever loop. Oh, nope.
Yep.
No.
Forever. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn on, yeah, you want to stay away from the corner.
Not yet. Oops.
We're going to turn on turn off the current on P1, wait a bit, and then turn it on back on. And to do that, let's add a pause.
Pause. That's in basic. Yeah.
And we can then turn on the current.
Which is where?
So basically what analog write pin does is it lets you know how much
light
voltage you're going to put through the pin, which means going to go through the LED. Mm-hmm. So we can also control how bright it is. Mm-hmm. Now 1023 is going to be 100% of 3 volts, which is 3 volts. And we're going to do that, and then we're going to go to 0, or maybe a little bit, just so that it's faint, and then we're going to do another pause. And we can change the time here, so the pause is not. You won't see much in the simulator, but we'll see more when we go to the hardware. So typically when you do an LED, you need a resistor in line, otherwise you're going to fry it. But all these devices carry one in their circuit, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's switch to table mode and let's
download.
Let's download.
Let's see the mouse. Probably already know how to download.
And we are downloading here. I can show the LED is blinking. And surprise, surprise!
Cha-ching!
Our LED button is blinking, and it is also still working. So this is a great tool because you can use it both as an input and as an output, in case you put it in a box of sorts. So for that purpose, I brought in.
Well, it looks really good. The blue.
I brought in this little box. It's an old Adafruit box that I got. I placed an order. I got the box. I kept the box because they're really cool. And I can use this. This is a Canary box cutter. It's very nice. It's a very nice cutter to cut into cardboard. And I kind of figure out.
And it doesn't cut your skin that much. It's not that bad.
Now I can unplug it and kind of figure out how much I want to kind of mark how much I need to cut. And this is a fairly safe tool to cut in cardboard, much safer than scissors.
So do try this at home, kids.
All right. So I'm going to push that down. So I've got a nice button in the center. And you can see here on the other side, typically these buttons come with a ring. And that's to secure them.
Yeah. So they don't fall through or they go.
So they don't fall through.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark going to take off the battery for now. Let's unplug this. I'm going to do a little mark here to put the microbit in. So I'm going to mark how much I need here. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to slot in my microbit. I'm just slotting it in.
Oh, that looks really good.
Yeah, it holds on, and I've got all my pins showing up in the back here. So the only thing I need also to hide is I need to get the battery inside of the box. So I'm going to do a second hole in the back so that I can sleeve in the battery. So we're going to get the battery through. Double tape it here and then rewire the battery. You can use cardboard is a great tool, great material to work with. Now we can hide the cable here. It's nice and tucked. We've got a button here, microbit sliding out, and now we can rewire everything. We just need to remember who's who.
Yeah.
This is backwards, so this is going to be ground. And I have ground here. And I need 2 grounds. And we'll, Emil, you'll add the second button because we're going to rebuild our button smasher game.
Yeah.
And that was not a good idea, so I'm going to plug that one into the switch part of the microbit.
I know what's funny? So on the camera, that's kind of filming like from the down for your hands. You can see the green.
Oh yeah, we haven't done the green screen yet there. We should. All right. And I'm going to connect now my P1 and P0 cables. And this is probably the tricky part, but wiring is always kind of a fun adventure.
Yeah.
Especially in contrived areas.
Yeah.
But once it's secured, it's definitely worth it. Alright. Now I can test. I see my LED blinking, so that's a good sign for me. I'm gonna hide the cables.
There you go.
Unless you, yeah.
It's blinking.
See, it's blinking and, ooh, wow.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching. So we've got a button. So the arcade buttons are great. You can put them in boxes very easily. They give you an awesome haptic feedback as far as using your microbit. And some of them have LEDs, which lets you even show an output. So Emil, let's go back to the editor.
Yep.
And let's go home and let's go back to our game.
Oh yeah, our code that we made yesterday.
Yes.
We don't need to give this a name. So we don't need to name it.
Yeah.
Tug of lead.
Tug of lead. I'm going to leave that one on the side. All right, so we're back to the game, and just for those who haven't seen the show yet, this is what is it again?
It's a game. So it's 2 players, and it's B and A, and so.
So if you button smash on each side, you try to button smash and pull the LED towards you.
Yeah.
All right. Now, interestingly, this one is going to be a bit more challenging if we want to use buttons because we're using button A and B. Now, how would you, if we wanted to use buttons and the pins, we would have to use a new block, right? We'd have to use the on-pin press. But there's actually something really cool with the microbit, is that it has some of the pins out there that are already wired to A and B, but they are the small, tiny pins that are really hard to get to. Now, if you want to use those directly into your makes, there's a few accessories you can buy, and this is one of them.
A breadboard?
It's an edge connector from Kitrotic, but there's plenty of edge accessories you can find. And what you do with those is slot it in.
Oh.
And now you see all the metal pins there. Let's see if we can go into this mode. All the metal pins there are exposing all the pins that are on the edge of the microbit. So all the pins that are here, you got now some nice little metal pins, and that means you can use these wires here, not these particularly, but these wires called jumper wires, and you can easily slot them on.
Put them on.
All right, so now let's go back to your browser, and we're going to search for something called microbit pinouts. And you can see that the second hit here is from the Microbit Foundation, and they've got some documentation about which pins are which. And what I'm really interested on is, see here, this one. Let's see. See this one, button B is
P11.
P11, and button A is
P5.
P5. So if I go back to my edge connector, what I need to do is put a jumper wire on P5 and a jumper wire on
P11.
P11. Do that. And also going to need a ground. So there's one that's called 0 volt. That's our ground. Okay, so I've got my 3 wires. And now I can wire that to a button, to 2 buttons, and we can try that. So Emil, let's go back to table mode.
Okay.
We're going to have to download the code. I'm going to start wiring things up here. If you don't mind. Can you download the code in the microbit?
Oh, yeah. Here. Ching. Microbit safe.
And there's conveniently 2 pins for ground, so I don't even have to do...
Check if it downloaded. I think it did.
And the cabling always gets a bit messy. That's why you want to kind of put it in an enclosure.
Yeah.
All right, so this should be wired to P11. P11 was button B, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, you see the LED is moving?
Oh, yeah. Button? Oh, yeah, and there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so button B is working.
Now we just need button A.
Now we need to do button A, and this is another kind of button. It has an LED in it, but it also has 3 pins, and I'm not really sure who's who. So I'm just going to try my luck and see if I can get the 2 things I need. No luck here, nothing's happening. Let you compute how many combinations I need to try out.
So you have 2 pins.
I'll keep switching things around.
3, 4.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right, Emil.
3 and
This is the replay of yesterday's bout. Grab your button.
Should I? Okay.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Oh! This is an endurance game. This is hard. I'm going for the finishing. I don't have the Roblox training of button smashing. Oh, you're slowing down. It's my time to attack. Oh!
I won.
A1.
What?
Sorry to tell you that, but this is a win for me.
How did A win? We didn't see it. Oh.
A totally wins.
Let's see.
Look at the screen. Oh, it scrolled it down.
B wins! It says B wins. It said B wins if you look.
We must have bugs.
It said B wins.
Alright, so to recap, what we've done today is we've learned about super cool arcade buttons. They are cheap. You can find them in many places. Most electronic shops carry it. And they're super fun to work with. You can use them with 3 pins on the microbit. Some of them even come with LEDs. So you can do cool effects. And it's super easy to build something that even looks pretty professional.
Yeah.
Like this this show a heart button device. All right. And that's all for today. Emil, thank you for your help today.
Yeah, I came in a bit.
Yeah. And see you later for more adventures in Microbit Land.